Hi guys, welcome to another video in my How I Paint series. This time I want to talk about how I paint flames. Fire is tricky. You want it to look real, which means you've got to work extra hard to push the brightness. It also has to look natural, which means you need to increase the chaos of your painting, making it more random and less clean. I'll be painting Judge Fire from Osprey Games Judge Dredd, Helter Skelter, The Dark Judges. Bit of a mouthful. All told, it only took about 20 minutes to paint, including priming, which is really very quick, even for me. And I think the end product looks pretty good, at least for tabletop standard. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and check out the Amazon affiliate links in the description below. If you use them to buy stuff, it won't cost you anymore, but it will help support the channel, which would be greatly appreciated.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
After doing my usual black prime, white zenithal and heavy white dry brush, I did a little extra on Judge Fire. I painted all of the flames on the Mini, as well as the deeper bits which were meant to be on fire, with a coat of matte white, in order to enhance the brightness of the flame effects as much as possible. The important thing to remember when painting fire is how the physics of flame works. Fire is hottest at its source and cools as it gets further away from this source. What does this mean for someone trying to paint it? It means that as you get further and further from the source of the flame, it should get darker and darker. So I start on the outside of the Mini, the tips of the flames with a red speed paint. I then switch to an orange speed paint for the next part of the flames, hotter and closer to the body. Finally, for the innermost parts of the flame, I use Zealot Yellow, an orangey yellow speed paint. This is especially important for the eye sockets, the recesses on the shoulder pads, the inside of the mouth and other sources of heat. We want the source of the fire to look as bright as possible, and we want it to look as if Judge Fire is burning from the inside out. In order to enhance the glowing effect that I'm going for, I'll need to emphasise the brightest areas by adding a bit of shadow. In this case, I decide that the parts of the trident which are not burning should be grim black, and the parts of the face closest to the burning eyes and mouth should also be in shadow, thus adding contrast and making the most intensely burning areas stand out. Now, I'm not 100% happy with the look of the shadow on the face when I look at it really close, but from a moderate distance I think the effect came out really well. I normally like my minis to look as good as I can make them, even when magnified. Of course, the closer you get, the more imperfections you can see, so there is a trade-off, but I'm still not a fan of really obvious paint application. Ideally, I want my Mini to look as though it was always that colour, not like I painted it. It's part of the reason why I'm usually reluctant to add highlights to a Mini after I've finished it. They often look forced to me and a bit unnatural, at least when you see them up close. In this case, however, I guess I have to sacrifice the close-up look of the Mini in order to enhance the overall effect I'm going for. The next step is to add some fluorescent colours to make the flames even brighter. The first shade I use is Radiation Glow, a bright orange colour which I apply liberally in some of the cooler areas. I next paint the hottest areas with the bright yellow Lens Flare Glow, giving these some extra punch. In both cases, these are quite thin paints with only partial coverage. Fortunately, this is exactly what I want. I don't want to drown the Mini, I just want to enhance the brightness for an overall effect. The fact that the underlying colours show through adds to the chaotic and more natural effect of the flames that I'm aiming for. I finish off with some grim black on the base. As you can see, I accidentally splashed some of the black paint on the feet of the Mini. So I cleaned the brush and, while still wet, used it to wipe off the mistake. A little bit of black on the feet isn't a huge deal and would probably not even be noticed, but this was a big splodge and I really needed to fix it. When I'm done, I spray all my Minis with satin varnish to protect them and add a bit of extra shine. Gloss varnish is way too shiny and matte varnish is a bit dull, in my opinion. By using satin, it just gives the Mini a touch more punch without going overboard. The choice of varnish is largely determined by the overall effect that you're going for. Most of the painters I watch on YouTube are adding their own light and spending a lot of time with things like volumetric highlights and non-metallic metal and other advanced techniques. In this case, matte varnish is almost certainly more appropriate, as the painter has already decided where the highlights should be. In my case, however, I don't mind cheating a little and just letting dumb luck decide where the mini should shine. I hope you enjoyed this quick dive into painting fire. It's one of the scarier things I've tried, but I can make it look pretty good if I just focus on how physics works. As always, don't forget to like if you like the video, share if you think someone else you know might like it, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.